Hi, I'm Eric.
And I'm Dick. We're the Annuity Guys.
Dick, the top 5 annuity safety risks. What are they?
Well, there's a lot of different risks, Eric.
I just want the
even
top
more
5.
than the top five.
Well,
you want me to just rattle them off?
That's a boom, 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 boom. Let's get this quick and done. No, yeah.
I have to read them if I'm just going to go that.
All right, so give us the highlights then of what the first one is.
Well, the first one, Eric, is market risk. A lot of times folks enter into an annuity, and I think that was, what I really want to say. First of all, when you say the word annuity, it conjures up safety. You're right.
So how can this be a risk?
And so folks don't often look at the risks in a fair manner. And when you start thinking about market risk, again, typically, and we deal a lot with market-free annuities,
right.
So we're not thinking about market risk, and we're thinking the opposite.
Yeah.
When folks come to us a lot of times and they start showing us what they've got, and they start watching our videos, the next thing they're saying is, why would my advisor have put me into an annuity like this? It's typically a variable annuity.
Yeah.
And they said, I didn't understand that, I really had my principal at risk. And there's maybe folks that it's okay to have a variable annuity, but they should know what they have.
Well, and it's unfortunately how they get sold that really drives me nuts, because a lot of times the advisor will take the income rider and the benefits and say, see, you've got the 6% annual ratchet lock-in, your account's going to keep growing guaranteed, which is true, but then they don't go to that next step and say, but you have to use that guaranteed portion for future income.
Oh, by the way, that's not your principal. Your principal can go backwards.
Yeah, it can go bye-bye, and that's the thing that drives me nuts. So it's not focusing on it's focusing on the guarantee and not explaining how that guarantee works for them. So.
Right. Another one, Eric, of the 5 is risk to growth. And this goes for both the variable annuity and for the hybrid style annuity, the market-free fixed indexed annuity. A lot of times folks hear the advisor explaining, how either, with sub-accounts with the variable or with indexing on the fixed indexed annuities, that they can achieve these growth rates of maybe 5 to 8%, and so in their mind they start to believe that it's a guarantee.
Right. They don't understand that that they're taking a choice, that they're going to get a potential of this return in exchange for the potential of getting no return,
of getting zero or
in
the
the
minimum
case of a variable annuity.
Or going backwards. Right.
So it's when you have an option, it is a risk reward for growth. Sometimes you elect to take that risk and have a little bit higher potential, but you just have to be aware that is a risk that you might not get anything.
Right, and that's where we talk about a floor, having some guarantees in place, so that in a worst case scenario, either you have this income guarantee or you have this growth guarantee, which is a minimum floor. And so as long as folks
understand.
as long as you really understand what you're getting into, you accept this, because the alternative to it is bank CD rates or very low fixed annuity rates. We're talking with banks, less than 0.5%, maybe 1% on if you tie your money up.
I always just round down to zero.
And fixed annuities, we're looking at somewhere in that 3% range on a more of a guarantee.
Yeah.
So.
Now, I know the next item that you had on the list was the loss of principal. And we talk about principal protection a lot with annuities.
Right.
So when we say loss of principal being a risk, now you're scaring us all, darn it, Dick. What are you talking about?
Well, we're talking about kind of loss creep. Where it creeps into you, take your principal away. Now, obviously, a variable annuity, they come with the higher fees. I mean, we can be talking anywhere from 2 to 4%, 5%.
Right.
And if you're losing, or flat, let's just talk about the market being flat, no gains, and you're paying a 4% fee. Well, your principal's reducing by 4 or 5%, each year.
And that's true of any annuity that has a fee that basically just gets taken out every year. So if you have no gains, you have to realize that the fee is going to erode some of that cash account.
So take the market-free hybrid or the market-free fixed indexed. The fee is much lower, typically maybe 0.5% up to 1%. Some of them have no fees. So if you have a fee and the market's really flat, not even any volatility in the market, then you could actually be going backwards by that fee in your principal account.
Right, and you have to understand that you're electing typically to have a rider on that annuity. You're getting a benefit for that rider, but what you're paying for is that rider fee that's going to take some of the benefits away. Now, I'm a big fan of the spread.
Yeah, I like the spread,
which is basically I call it the shared fee,
shared
benefit.
Yeah,
If it goes down, there's no basically charge. Now, if it's going up, typically the insurance company gets paid first, which is no surprise there. But they benefit when you benefit, and it's usually a little bit maybe larger number than what you're going to see just strictly on a fee basis. But I like the aspect of your account's never going to go backwards, because if there is a zero or negative year, that account balance stays zero because the spread only gets applied basically when there's a growth in the account.
Another aspect of loss of principal as a risk is when you don't properly plan with an annuity.
So you're coming back for the money earlier than you're supposed to.
Yeah, exactly. You haven't thought of, and we're going to touch on that a little bit in the next one that we talk about, the next risk.
Okay.
But yeah, not really considering your needs and planning properly. So let's. And I think the point here is just that you get hit with some penalties and surrender charges that you shouldn't have had you planned correctly.
Right.
So let's talk about the next one there, which is
number 4.
Yeah, really overfunding annuities as an asset class.
Yeah, well, it's you put too many eggs in one basket. If you drop the basket, it gets broken.
Yeah, or you just
you lose it all. So you want to diversify. You don't want to have, and that includes annuities. You don't want to put everything in annuities.
Well, and that's the point I was getting at. Is you could just your whole portfolio. You can just annuities look so good sometimes. I mean, they really do. And folks even say, "Gosh, this just seems too good to be true." And once they realize it is true, they want to put too much in. And sometimes our job is to hold them back. And say, "Hey, let's be, fair to your foundational needs here, but let's not put more in than what's necessary."
Yeah, let's take care of your safe, comfortable income number.
Yes.
And then let's balance around that with liquidity needs, emergency cash positions.
Yes.
Some kind of inflation countermeasure. So it's making sure that you're balancing and having proper allocations.
And you made the point of not putting, all your eggs in one basket, not putting too much in any one annuity. And again, this is one of the challenges we face is whenever you're showing which annuity is best for this need or that need, there's usually one company or two companies that come to the forefront, and everyone says, well, if they do that much better than the other one, why don't I just put everything in that company? And it sounds good.
And it's another risk reward, because you're getting the highest usually potential income or our best potential growth number. You're getting that with that one company. And so it's tough to always go to number 2.
It is. And maybe sometimes that company that's giving you the best is a slightly less rated company. And there's a reason why they're giving you a little more. So there's nothing wrong with putting some money there.
Right.
You just don't necessarily want to put too much there.
Right. You just risk and reward.
Take that balanced approach.
Yes.
Right.
So the more allocations you have, the safer it usually is. So
now, how about number 5? That's the one that really comes up in people's minds, and I would say it's still in the top 5, but it's probably one of the lower risks, really, when you think about it, and that's failed insurance companies.
Well, it's lowered risk only if you're making the proper selection of your insurance company.
Yes.
We talk about third-party ratings, and we talk about the importance of A-rated companies, and even occasionally we'll slip down in maybe a B++ company.
Yeah, something that's real close to an A.
But when we start talking about the lower-rated companies, we want to make sure that they're a lower rated company. And why is that? Because as you get down to the C's, D's, and E's,
they do go into receivership.
They will,
Yes.
There are companies that have unfortunately gone into conservatorship.
And they do offer sometimes benefits that are too good to be true.
Well, they try to buy the business. That's how they stay in business.
Exactly.
They've got usually better benefits or better rates or better something that gets the dollars in, but they have to then manage to meet those needs of those promises they put out there. And sometimes they can't do that as well.
Well, and if you really just look at the history of insurance companies in general, they're almost, when you talk about A-rated companies over the last 50 years, there's hardly any of them that failed, or that if they have failed, they don't fail
if they did
instantly.
fail, I'm not aware of them.